again, my man. What's on your mind? Huh? Oh. No, I ain't got any money. They don't want to pay for unfinished work. The bosses, man. Yeah, it sure ain't good for me. Or you. I'd spare a coin or two for a city cop down in his luck. If I had, say, four myself. It's like, whatever's going on over at the docks. Workers got a blockade set up, making demands, no way in or out. Some pretty wild stuff, I hear. Like a giant new power crane in half the company? I forget what exactly. Good on them. I've heard talk there's a company rep in town, too. Like, a strike negotiator type. They'd know what's up. Precise demands and so on.
Ah, yes, from the Wild Pines. We'll meet her soon enough, I'm sure.
They want to keep that money flowing in, my man. Ka-ching.
He doesn't blame them, but he's not on their side. That's for sure.
Anything else? Yeah, this ain't really my area of expertise. I just do my job and get paid. Us lorry drivers. Camionneurs. You still hang around here waiting for this mess to end. Most have scurried off somewhere to get drunk or high. Or laid. Not my thing. Chasing transient pleasures is a drag these days. I prefer the examined life now. Thinking, reflecting, observing. Oh, high-grade narcotics, illegal firearms, stuff like that.
Time to arrest him. Relax. He's merely joking.
Ha! No, I'm joking, my man. Found runs a nice, clean business. This haul of cargo is mostly sporting goods. You know, tracksuits and that kind of thing. They usually get shipped to Grodd in the Occident, though we've been making headway in the Il Moran market lately. We're pals and all, but I can't just freely hand out the merchandise. The bosses won't be happy. This rockin' beauty. Sure is, like a rash you can't get rid of. You interested in heavy duty?
A motor lorry, also called a camion, on Caillou and neighboring islands. This one looks roughed up enough to be some sort of found rust bucket. Maybe the A6?
Good eye, my man. Yup, she's an old one, but reliable. Me and her spent a lot.
There it is again. A little touch of sadness beneath his cool. He thinks he's spent too long in this lorry.
Not unless they've illegalized sports equipment while I was on the road.
The man taps his fingers rhythmically against his arm. Ease into it. Don't go too far. This seems like a personal matter.
You really are the law, aren't you? I get that being
That all the beans you got, Tommy? Damn, it really is hard to talk, man to man.
He ain't one of us drivers. I know that. All accounted for.
It's easy to see he's telling the truth. He's kept his nose out of the dark stuff. The man taps his fingers rhythmically against his arm. The small, wrinkled woman does not greet you. She nods along to something on her radio. The photo, an ambrotype from the turn of the century, as golden as hers. It's the warmth of a winter night's fire. Maybe she could give you comfort and shelter, some cigarettes and food money. Maybe she's your... No response. Wherever this woman is, your words fail to reach her. Nothing. Her smile just keeps widening. Her hair is gray, like...
Wait. She's just a distracted old woman. Better to...
An old monument stands in the middle of the traffic island, pointing toward the sea. It looks as if it's been reassembled. A silver plaque on the statue's pedestal reads, "I am Philip III, the Squanderer, the greatest of the Philippian kings of Revachol, son of Philip II." Not a good track record of mental health in that family. Even by the standards of the Philippian kings, old sumptuous Philip was known for his profligacy. Well, he blew through the whole national treasury, starting the decline of his own maladministration foreshadowed the fall of the monarchy. During the anti-centennial revolution, an end to his family line and the monarchy. On the Insulin, stories have it that he had his bedroom converted into a treasure chamber, where he stored unfathomable wealth. Krugerrands, but he called it the Sol Aurum. It was obscene. There were whispers he slept on a huge pile of gold-dipped feathers.
The man certainly knew how to live.
But wait, you haven't even heard about his fabled cocaine addiction. Philip III's ludicrous bronze likeness looks defiantly up in a lorry stuck in the traffic jam. This big, heavy Grad-made machine is well kept. The windows are clear. They've been recently washed. You can see a lorryman's cabin with personal belongings. The driver has adorned his space with a substantial collection of peculiar paraphernalia. Proclamations about honor, strength, and purity are glued to various panels. The driver has adorned his space with the back end of the cabin as a small perch to sleep, large ashtrays. There are several sun. A book with ragged edges catches your notice. The front cover features a large, muscular man. The title reads, Man from...
Racist nationalist paraphernalia. Not unusual in this part of town. This is our guy. Likely, yes. This guy's proud of who he is. Drapes it all over his machine.
A right to work! Hold up and stay frosty, everyone. Cops are here.
You here to fuck with us? Beat the honest worker down.
We're here to fight for a cause. Stripes usually have problems with people who have causes. Good. We're fighting for a cause here. Besides, we're not that different. It helps if people see us talking, cops and strikebreakers together. Shows authorities are on our side. Builds confidence. Rights of people. Rights of workers. To have gainful employment. To make us...
His manner of speaking is wooden. The tone of voice bland and uninspired. Almost as if compiling replies from a set of learned phrases.
Might be time. Don't let the fat bastards tread on you. Cops tend to side with the higher-ups, but you're essentially still... I don't trust cops, but I can see you understand the... Right to work! Right to work! Maybe you should ask them the questions, like, why we're not allowed to make a living here. Shame on you!
We have families to feed, you piece of shit.
So do we, Scab.
Honest men and women, with rights, to work, to be useful. Not toys for corporate. We came here to help the harbor run smoothly in time of crisis. If Union fucks don't want work.
I have a question. Why do all these men...
You think they follow because I'm big and loud? No. They follow the rules of the market, the rules of the economy, because they were given a job! We were promised work. We'd be in there, working, if the bastards hadn't shut the gates.
Main gate's locked. Would take heavy ordnance to bust it open. Could try to get in through the secretary's office. Door's locked. The guards blocking the way to the... And I don't mean the scrawny mess punk either. I mean head measurer. Or whatever he is. Huge Seminese guy standing up there on the overhead passage. Won't let anyone by. Bad. Standing on a narrow bridge, he's got a strategically advantageous position. And he's trained.
I don't know how the Union has a trained killer up there. But that one's no joke, and my men are tired. And
like civilized folk, you mean? These native fucks don't understand civilized.
It would be better for the neighborhood if you went home. At least for now. If you can't get in anyway.
No! They will give up eventually. Or get drunk. Leave the button unguarded. Then, we charge. When a bunch of ungrateful, lazy cockroaches can't get their act together, decide to block honest work for other people.
beats me. They mumble nonsense about boardrooms and workers' rights, while we...
There's something odd in the way he carries himself. His set of clothing looks vaguely mismatched. The different pieces of the attire seem ill-fitting. His shirt is far too small and an unpleasantly tight fit, while the overalls, held up by a belt, seem to fit a man with much more. He ignores your question, choosing instead to turn to the emaciated workers. Silence is the answer. There's something off here, but he won't say. You've been talking to him for quite a while now. Something is off with this guy. Ask him where he's from.
What's it to you? Big mess, caused by Union greed. But I only fight for the rights of people. We're all workers, right? Workers stick together. Came from the eminent domain, in Jamrock. Backgrounds in odd jobs, heavy lifting, cargo hauling, bouncer work. I know the drill. Worked at Territorial. Ring a bell? Uh-huh. It was a long time ago. Have fun.
Union shits are on full strike. Don't think they're going to let you through the gates. I'm trying to meet their fat boss.
I know nothing about a murder.
The mention of a killing sends a barely noticeable shiver of tenseness through him. Interesting.
Wouldn't put it past these harbor bugs. They'd do anything to stay alive. Right to work! It's shameful. Cops doing nothing. You should bring backup, open up the gates for us. Blockading gainful employment for workers is a crime.
We are not picking a side in this just yet, sir.
Pity.
Let us work!
polymetric ship compressor. Bizarre scientific news from Revachol West today, where a police officer's shit has been observed at a pressure of around 495 gigadecimals. These metallic hydrogen levels of shit togetherness were thought to exist only at the center of collapsing stars, not long. There he still is, looking right through you.
Active decay. It's okay to throw up if it...
He's about to blow! Cop's gonna blow, Kuno!
Ha ha ha. Again, the corpse laughs at you, pus dripping. Every time it happens, it gets worse and worse. There's nothing more to throw up now. All that's left is crying and convulsing dryly at the same time. Little black bubbles pop on the corpse's lips.
Officer, you just need to be stronger. Learn to keep it...
You can open this white check again by going to your character sheet and...
Relax. It's okay if you don't make it today. The bloated corpse isn't going anywhere.
already betrays your degeneracy.
Yeah, Measurehead. His body totally betrays his degeneracy.
Don't say anything. Size him up first.
That is precisely the negligence that has led you to succumb to Al Ghul. You reek of it. An invisible sword of Al Ghul emerges from your throat. You cannot see it, but others can. It is making the woman in my company sick. No, you don't. You need to get another drink. Occidental Haplogroup B4 is done giving orders around here. The influence of the ham sandwich race is waning.
Show him the ham still got it. Does this remind you of someone? The guy down there?
Look at my craniology. I am the pinnacle of my haplogroup. The pink blob is a bad... You gave the world eugenics, electricity, and powerful weapons of war like missiles, and you dominated lesser cultures like the deformed Hemians and the inexplicably potato-obsessed Khoikos. You will be superseded. Isn't that right, babe?
It is, baby, yeah. You know it.
There is a button right behind him, just out of reach. It must be the one that opens the door to the harbor.
It is my task to keep the degenerate drunks from entering the harbor. Enough with this begging. You should leave the stage of his. Bring your troops to the Simenine Islands and to Boogie Street, and we will pull. The walls will be lined with bottles of Al Ghul, your beloved beverage. Inside, we will store the odes to homosexuality you call art, and your microcephalic skulls.
There may be a peaceful solution to this. You could internalize Measurehead's race theory. He would take you as one of his own. The best idea. Ask what kind of races there are first. Classification is core to this stuff.
Do you?
The lieutenant looks toward the harbors.
You are obviously a liberal, Sailite. A polyculturalist. I can see it from your love of microtechnology and your sartorial choices. Not. There are 3 categories of race. Type A, the heroic race. races. Tibe, the Servine races, and the vile CF race cauldron of pederasty. Which one do you need? Those are the Simonese, the Areopagite, and the Occidentals, excluding the Maun, of course. The Maun are riddled with eczema to the point where they find it impossible to smile. They are all lactose intolerant, a common result of inbreeding. A receding genetic pool has led the Maun on reprehensible street parades. In Maun cities like Stadskanal and Vredefort, wearing wooden clogs on their feet and little green tassels on their hats. You know them by the names of their nation-states. The Oranese, the Gotwaldians, and the Königsteiners. My people simply call them Maun.
Mahun is a derogative term for First World people of Gotwaldian descent. They do not all have eczema. Also, people of Katla, like the Suru and the Uhu, in some municipalities of Oranje, people do wear shoes made of wood to street parade.
The Maun are proof that you can have too much Occidental racial purity and tassel-centric culture. The Vespertines and Messenians of Vesper and Messina, the ancient Meteorans of Meteo by the golden Pisantic Sea, the Suren of Sur-la-Clé, and even the North Königsteiners, all have Type A race propensities. The other large Mondial civilization, the Mesk, are too yellow and oleaginous to count as a heroic race. True, they are violent and expansionist, but they have a glandular problem. Overproduction of sebum. Sebum is leaking into their brains, making them listen to El Mariachi music and eat toxic minced meat-based food. As proven by the Maun and the Mesk, Occidental Type A is in retrograde. The Simonese and the Areopagite, the indigenous people of this, the Insulindian archipelago. The Simonese inhabit the southern islands. I am Simonese from the stock. The Areopagites are the master race of the Ilmaran deserts. The Simonese are descendants of the Areopagites. We came here during The Areopagites are sleek, long-headed. The Simonese are powerful, mesomorphic. The former is an immutable progenitor, unchanged. The latter is perfected and adapting. Together they form the Simeno-Areopagite, or Simeopagite.
Nature was not capable of more.
Tipube are the unheroic races, amorphous non-competitors of
The Khoikos of Grad, Yugo, Zhimsk, Shest et al. Are what you would call white, officer, in a suspect description.
Yes, to an untrained eye, the Khoiko appear white and pinkish, like a hand sandwich. But look into their eyes, and pinkness is a racial quality that has to be earned through centuries of advanced ballistic warfare and cultural domination that the Grad people have undergone for drinking Al Ghul and smoking the degenerate tobacco herb. And for the Khoiko, the countless micronationalities of Grad are all inexplicably obsessed with Potat. The only thing they like more is dividing into microscopic ethnostates. Like
Wouldn't he be one for ethnostates?
They are microscopic. The Semeno-Areopagite superstate will cover the entire Its leaders will be the genetic epitome of the Simonese and Areopagite stock, elected by the Revacholians, halfway between Type A and the Racial Cauldron. Two makes to know right from wrong. You tried your degenerate little revolution, which was the single greatest failure.
Is it 82,000 years that we've been recording history? You have very little idea of what is...
The mysteries of the people of this planet are a tragedy that has played out countless times over. Like a fever dream of... The revolution came to Ravachol from Grad, in Zaraz-ridden potato carts. It is literally an illness. A prion disease that leaves the parietal and frontal lobe ridden with holes. A soft, sponge-like mass of dementia, hallucination, and paranoia. The revolution is fatal familial insomnia. A hereditary prion condition passed from the Khoiko to the Occidentals. But not sexually. Probably through trade roots and potate acid, the prime component of the potato plant. Enough of Tibet mediocrity. Tips CF are a museum of failed chimeric experiments and tragic maladaptations. Lesser races like the Mosquito, a grotesque mixture of a masked woman and a Semenese man. The Mosquito is born sterile, like a donkey. All they have left is to ride customized
It seems unlikely that two human beings produce genetically sterile offspring.
You are right. You have misunderstood.
The Sage will not budge on this.
Then there is the Simino Koiki Chimera. Are you sure you wish to know of the Simino Koiki Chimera? It is not an aesthetic site. That is understandable. Were there more fortunate tips you understand nothing. To solve the great race enigma, you have to first ask yourself. You need to internalize what you have heard here today, then return to me. This clarity does not come in. I cannot possibly imagine what else we have to discuss, Tibere Vacholian. Your love for disco music and venereal disease? Racists are generally not very good examples of their race. I am not like them. I am craniometric perfection. I have taken the trouble to permanently draw at...
The drawings are precise and look true to their pseudo-scientific ambitions. One thing, however, it is not entirely free of throwbacks in the phylogenetic tree. His large jaw, for example, could be a trait indicative of criminalism. Also, his earlobes could be small.
That atavistic stigmata makes pussy say yes, plenty.
Babe, thanks. But I got this. Don't be vulgar. White or not has got little to do with this.
There must be some friction there. He's keeping it well hidden, however.
Mr. Clare is a man of vision and means. He has the will to confront polycultural capital. Something also to serve is noble. It takes discipline. Your petulant individualism has only contributed to your race failure. It jam individualism. You have gotten these ideas from degenerate youth. Offshoots of the Seminese people invented disco while having sex. I am not surprised you enjoy it so much. This has happened to many of the side products of the inevitable cultural victory of the Seminese race. What you need is to come to terms with extinction and never getting into this harbor.
How did this happen? Your little fist is in his giant hand.
You must be out of your mind, degenerate drunk. Say it.
Your fist cracks in his hand like a rifle.
The words to the song have changed.
Feel something in your chest, an unnatural pressure. It's spreading to your left arm. Very, very bad. This is the end bad. All you feel is pain and weakness. You have to surrender now. We all... Cop suffers final heart attack. A detective lieutenant of the RCM passed away yesterday. His death, though abrupt, did not come as a surprise to those who knew him. He was the heaviest drinker I'd ever met, Captain Ptolemy Price, the deceased superior officer.
Bastards! We have a right to work!
A striking woman leans against the cabin top of her sailing boat, smiling as you approach.
Good morning, officers. I'm Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbor. You gentlemen must be from the RCM. I'm glad to see you here. I was dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do to assist the RCM in this matter, I will.
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering from an unusual medical episode. Very unusual. But I can assure you of his ultimate competency.
There's a trace of irony in his voice. Mischief, even. The lieutenant...
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation, and the full cooperation of the Wild Pines group. What we do. I'm afraid
There was a touch of discomfort there. She wants to merely represent.
The Pines' core competency is logistics. Container shipping, freight, that sort of thing. See those airships there, blinking? Those are the shipping side of things. And that is the terminal. Another subdivision deals with energy, oil and gas exploration.
The Wild Pines Group is one of the original Revacholian Indo-tribes. Companies awarded royal monopolies by the king, the suzerain himself, centuries ago. The king is long gone, but several of the Indo-tribes, Saint-Baptiste, LUM, an unknown entity known as Brightest Star.
Why, thank you. I'm not at liberty to discuss the company balance sheet, but I can tell you that last year...
$1 billion?
$20 billion is a large number, but the conglomerate employs 72,000 people. They all need to be paid. Then there are capital improvements, interest payments. A conglomerate the size of the Wild Pines is like a shark. If it stops moving, it will die. Then what becomes of those 72,000 families? They started as an exploration and cargo fleet conducting trade between the Samaran and Insulindian Easterlers. Centuries of care, deliberation, and madness have gone into this endeavor. Vessels pass through the Great Unrest to re-emerge with apricots in tow. The logic of the system is totalizing. It's taken everything from its employees. You mean aside from being the terminal's legal owners, who are responsible for moving 8% of the world's cargo? There are no minor cogs in the system. Each terminal must be accounted for, lest the entire system break. Every hiccup in such a system means thousands lose their jobs, the world over. I'm here...
With your help, hopefully, says her warm tone.
Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets. I believe the official title is Senior Labor Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands to Wild Pines and return with Wild Pines.
And how are the talks going?
They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiations a week ago, after that awful... Now they won't even let me into the harbor. There's a 2-meter-20 racist behemoth blocking the gates. What can I say? The union employs a giant covered in tattoos. A racist giant. I guess that's part of their big tent organization now. Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first arrived.
And when did you first arrive?
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then.
But the strike began in December.
I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused to speak with...
This isn't the first time the union has gone on strike?
Heavens, no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and...
Ludicrous, even. It's meant.
Mr. Clare told him to... How did he put... Fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see. Keep in mind, this is a negotiator, Mr. Clare.
Sounds like usual aggressive posturing.
There are leaflets everywhere, and banners. What did they say again? Every worker, a member of the board.
Most of the workers probably don't know what that means.
Fortunately, they explained it. Every time the Wild Pines Group makes a decision about anything, it needs the signature of each of the 2,200 workers in its Martinez terminal. Just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. Essentially, not only are they kings of the company, they are also kings of the 72,000 employees of Wild Pines Group. I'm not sure. Naturally, I assume that was just their opening position, a hard-nosed tactic with a side of mockery. But there's been no follow-up, just the same And now, people are getting lynched, I hear. Behind the whirling in rags, a disastrous situation.
Excuse me, from whom did you hear about this lynching?
I first heard it from the bowyer at the gates, the one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said it was, "Call me mañana."
This checks out.
The scabs? You mean the huddled masses of Jamrock? If they were organized by Wild Pines or its affiliates, then it would be a company secret. I could not...
It's implied. She's open to discussing this matter with you at a later occasion.
Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous goo where you and I have blood. He is the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. Yes, Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers. The Débardeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been easy to establish organized labor at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter elections. The brothers Clare came and transformed it into a... how do you...
A mob. The Débardeurs are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be, I suspect we'll be forced to cooperate.
Refreshingly honest, officer. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but I'm afraid our... And your opinion, detective, if I may ask. I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you say the Débardeurs Union is... Thank you for being candid. Sadly, Wild Pines have cooperated with what amounts to a crime syndicate for 2 decades. However much you feed the wolf always hungers. I'm glad you asked. There was a woman, the previous forewoman of the Union. She disappeared.
Disappeared?
Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running anymore, or coming to work. Ever. And downright haunting, if you ask me. The Wild Pines suspected foul... The point of the presentation is, these kinds of things happen around...
Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine.
Of course. How else can I help? Why, yes I am. The boat? No. It is called...
The word, it, feels strange. Such a beautiful boat deserves a proper name.
My sloop? I like it a lot. It's the eel...
I'm enjoying this part of the interview. It has so...
I really do, the lieutenant thinks. Is she thrown off yet?
Of course there are. We're on an archipelago. How else are you supposed to get around? Yes, we are. We are on Le Caillou. I haven't seen anyone else drive a souped-up Capri Kenema motor carriage either.
Actually, that motor carriage has been specially issued to serve as a patrol and pursuit. It's for crossing long distances in the greater Ravachol in the...
Neither is this. A toy, I mean. It's a machine for crossing long distances in the...
You need to make this lady admit she's only riding around on this boat because she's rich. You have the guns and the ammo. Take this Clausen fiend down.
Oh my. The E word. You mean to say that it's a symbol of conspicuous consumption? That I'm a member of the ruling class?
Detective, may I remind you that Mrs. Messier is a pro...
Then what does that say? Does it say 33A? This old proletarian haunt here? As I said, plenty of people drive boats, of all social strata. Yes. Anyway. Good. Quite a few things, I'm afraid. The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. And this is my colleague from Precinct 41.
How curious. Why is that to...
Awkwardness washes over the conversation. The woman doesn't like this turn of events.
I see. So, are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode? Oh dear. Some kind of encephalopathic amnesia. I do believe you, naive as that may sound. I simply can't imagine what you get.
As I said, ma'am, his technique may be very unconventional, but he is.
Of course, I sympathize, but I'm afraid I simply can't share.
Hang on. She's a professional negotiator. She should be open to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement. I mean, favors for favors. Consider this. Perhaps she has been planning it all along. That you convince yourself into colluding with her. Easy. Just offer her a favor. Like I said, nice and dirty.
I will be frank with you. If I'm going to break protocol, I need to be able to just...
You're in, but expect her to drive up.
Reports from inside Terminal B suggest it's a hub for the local drug trade. The company has tried looking into this matter before, to no avail. Perhaps someone with your authority and resources might turn over the right... Or you can recover your badge, though if...
Detective, a word in private before we go.
Volumetric. Shit. Come.
Honestly, I was expecting you to use your unorthodox technique to keep her off balance, and you know, not... This woman is running circles around us. She might have known about your misplaced bag.
He doesn't let it show, but there is a limit to how much the consequences of your unprofessional behavior can cost the investigation.
I'm sure you will, Detective. Oh, that would be fantastic, but do we have the time? The world is large.
The situation might have changed drastically by the time...
You could request a new one from your station, but that would literally take months. Yes. Knowing this does not really change our position, however. No. If there is reasonable suspicion, we must investigate. Otherwise, What I propose is, we ask her, then we investigate. Briefly. But do not share the outcome of this investigation with her. We tell her it's done and demand for her information on the lynching.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
Is what you want to say, but it isn't that easy, is it? Look at that lady. Take a gander. Squint your eye. Why, yes. Tucked away under that sturdy green raincoat, almost rustic in its simplicity, while dull orange pearls hang from her earlobes, red from the cold. These are the kind eyes of the rich man that seem to say everything is within reason. Now look at you, you misery-clad simian, barely able to tie your own laces. Your armpits are late. You're poor, poor as balls. You can't ask this person for money. You're too... You think your little communism protects you from this feeling? No. Oh God, the lieutenant is here too.
As I was saying, if there's any way I may be of assistance, please don't hesitate to ask. It's quite straightforward. Someone is using Terminal B to smuggle raw ingredients from the Samaran...
Ingredients for what, ma'am?
Meth and dextroamphetamine, GBL, and various synthetic psychedelics. Honestly, it might be quicker to say what you can't make from the stuff. Yes, after they clear the terminal, we lose track. The actual production is taking place at various sites in and around Jamrock Quarter.
Wild Pine seems to be well apprised of the local drug trade, ma'am. Do you mean to say the Union also produces the product?
We're in logistics. It's our business to know. And no. As far as the company knows, the Union does not produce it. Yes, but you won't get anything out of Evrat and the Dock Workers Union.
The handoff. The motor lorries at the roundabout.
Precisely. Someone needs to move the ingredients from the harbour into the city.
How convenient that they're stranded like beached...
Perhaps you've noticed that a number of lorries are tangled in a traffic jam at the roundabout just now. Interview the... I'll be explicit. If you find this driver, I will share company secrets with you. We did. On more than one occasion. Apparently, there's some...
We know the company has launched its own probe into the Union's alleged involvement. We also know it's come up empty.
Well, here's your chance, officers. No. We asked East Motor Track to raise the drawbridge. The road company is a partner of one of our subsidiaries. However, this is a limited time opportunity. Once the complaint has been processed by the Trade Committee, thousands of litres of raw ingredients will pour onto the streets of Revachol. Not the east across the river, but the west.
Well, at least this...
What is that, Lieutenant?
Why I had to call East Motor Track and beg them to open a drawbridge for me. I'd wonder since
I am sorry for the inconvenience, Lieutenant Kisaragi, but we need them trapped here. This is a unique opportunity. How do you think they're financing this strike? There are thousands of unpaid dock workers going strong for the 4th month straight.
There was a shakedown of local businesses preceding the strike. Many...
With all due respect to these desert cacti, the contents of a few cash registers cannot provide for 2,000 men. The local... Precisely. Smuggled out of that very gate at night, most likely. Then loaded onto lorries and driven to Jamrock. You simply need to find one... Yes? Excellent. According to my reports, there are at least 3 lorries. It may come to nothing, or it may just blow the case wide open. I can... In the meantime, let me know if there's any other way I may be of assistance.
Voila, you're doing it.
Of course. How much do you need?
She's surprisingly nonchalant about this. Could it be that she somehow knows more about your predicament than she's letting on?
That's a reasonable sum. Not too small, not fantastically large.
She removes a few notes and hands them to you. The paper is cold and oily.
So, I hope I didn't just bribe you, officer. It may not be technically illegal under the Emergency Act, but still.
You're right, ma'am, that donations are permitted under the Emergency Act.
Which he most certainly will do. Now, how else can I help the RCM today, besides supplementing its salary? Of course, Detective.
Hey. Psst. Psst. Hey, yes, you. Word on the street is you're ready to start building communism again. You keep saying things like, down with the bourgeoisie, eat the rich, sodomize the landowners, impel all people who have more than 25 real in their pockets. Literally, funky style. Very funky. So tell me, do you have any questions before we fire up the big communism builder? Or do we get right? Failure. It's about failure. Of course you do. You are failure. You are communism. Absolutely vanquished. Beaten. You alone. Against every living thing. Against every human alive. 800 trillion real in the... You against the atom. The charm and the spin. Where the whole world failed. Matter of fact, now get to work, comrade. Oh yeah. Get the firing squads and the animal wagons ready. Too late to back out now. You can't make an omelette without...
Welcome to Crime, Romance, and Biographies of Famous People. Be welcome, and please take responsibility for the energy you bring into this space. I am the proudest owner of our little shop of culture. Then why are you talking to me? Everything is on the shelves to browse. Don't you feel compelled to buy any? Everything is on the shelves. Take a look yourself.
She's attempting to mentally direct you towards the shelves. She only wants you to buy the goods. She doesn't care about the books.
Everything is on the shelves. Take a look yourself.
She's attempting to mentally direct...
Truth be told, not really. My sister brings in most of the goods. I'm sure but you don't learn about the important things in life from fabricated stuff. The truth is available if you just know where to look. And you have to open and free your mind to understand.
She smiles and nods, seemingly relieved.
Annette, yes, my daughter. I hope she wasn't slacking off again with her nose in science fiction. Wonderful! Did you talk to her? Why not? Was she not friendly enough? Were you not compelled to... Oh yes, okay, that makes sense. It's working then. Yes. Do browse our books, sir. As a young girl should be, with the proper attitude, she'll have a bright financial future.
The woman before you scans the store, her shoulder.
Hello again, esteemed officer, and welcome to...
Hello, sir. Step right in. The store is open. Are you interested in a new and exciting book? It's a bookstore, sir. We sell books, postcards, and some board games. It's called Crime, Romance, and Biographies of Famous People.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold your horses, little girl.
Board games are like little games on a table, made to pass the time. There are several different ones, but say, my pleasure. Anything else you'd like to know?
There he still is, looking right through you with his white eyes. The body below is entirely dedicated to that corpse smell. Emitting it is all it does now. As you breathe in, the odor comes over you. It's a smell of the mind telling you to run, and your stomach to wring itself empty.
They do after 7 days, yes.
The man before you is naked, but for a pair of underpants and enameled boots. His skin is greenish, marbled with decaying veins, and blotched by lividity. The material appears to be ceramic. Its clean white stands in stark contrast to the decaying flesh above the knee. The man wore delicate and fragile. They feel alien. These are clearly not boots. They're armor, possibly part of a larger set.
Indeed. Technically speaking, these are sabatons, not boots. Ceramic plate, zirconium dioxide, most likely. This is where the make would... Under the heel. Fair weather model T500 VE. I'm guessing that's vitreous enamel. This is advanced stuff. It is. It's expensive. We've requested similar material for our tactical units for years now. The constabularies deemed it too costly. In that time, for a full set, about 4 years.
For the northwest region of Revachol, an officer's average yearly income is 5,500 rial, unadjusted for rank.
Not too much, yes. I have no idea what that means. Piece by piece. He's been out here for 7 days. It would be odd if... We should keep a lookout for these pieces. The armor could yield information. Maybe he'll know something.
The sabatons dangle off the man's decaying form.
That's for us to find out. My initial report on the area suggests he was a security guard for the harbor company. Just something I scraped together from my station. An area...
He's not actually sure of that. He's just being tactful.
I agree. This equipment is way beyond what a guard can afford.
A small bell-like sound fills the air.
It's anything but. This material is a kinetic redistributor. It spreads kinetic energy horizontally, from plate to plate.
Faint, organic lines cover the plates, where they separate into smaller ones. These plates then become like whirls of floorboards. The design looks organic, influenced by highly resistant wood materials, like lignum vitae and ebony perhaps. If trees were made of porcelain, this is what they're called. The smooth, glossy surface fractures into ever more. The whirls are in the shape of a letter and number combination. E50, 100, 1...
Good. Can you read it to me? We have a make and a number. That's something. We can use the radio in my kinema when we're done. Either station can chase it for us.
This feels dangerous. Are you sure? The sabatons dangle off the man's decaying form, ageless and synthetic. The cadaver slowly twists on the cargo belt. The hangman's knot is pulled tight by the weight of the corpse below. Yellow, hard-edged polyester cuts into his neck. Above, a sliding buckle tie. This is a steel-reinforced cargo lashing belt, big brother of the regular cargo belt. It's used for tying cargo on...
Airlifting? I thought it was used on lorries for strapping cargo to them. The local harbor uses 6 rotors to shuffle containers around. I get the sense they use whatever was on hand, without paying much attention to not incriminating themselves. I'm still approaching this as a lynching, yes, motivated by the ongoing strike. You?
No. You feel like it was something else. But what?
70% of the cases I get are just filling in the blanks on the initial report. This belt worried. I was afraid it would be. Thin steel wiring, parallel strands. This makes getting him down more problematic. A noose is one of those things that's easier to use one way around. That ladder can't carry a grown man. I didn't see any splintering either, did you? I think they lassoed the branch, then pulled on the belt.
Could be. The shape of the branch. The cadaver hangs from the cargo belt. His eyes are milky white and blind to the world. Protruding dark brown hair grows on his head. His face is ready to explode from the organic processes inside. The death's head grin has passed. What remains is an unrecognizable. The corpse is dead silent. You have no idea why you just said that.
Who is he? He is male, 4250, with an athletic build.
The corpse looks right through you as you distance yourself from its stench. Eyes, an intricate web of blue lines stretches across the torso, from the right shoulder to the solar plexus. Each time they intersect, a small white star is formed in their crossing. Hundreds of fading asterisks riddle his skin. His corpse is marked by stars, alcohol, and heartbreak.
A map of the stars. I do see some similarity.
As if someone left out most of the night sky, filtering it through personal choice.
So am I.
He takes a thin piece of milled aluminium from his coat pocket and pulls it open. Sound.
Shit, Kuno! What the fuck is that?
An instant color camera. I have only 2 ampoules, so nobody move. I don't want to waste one.
A sound, a shrill flash, followed by the breaking of a small ampoule of glass. You see...
In case we need it. Yes, it is pretty cool, isn't it? It contains insight to the victim's person. By his build, I'd say this was a man of physical violence. The story he wanted his body to tell was important to him. It is his letter, to us. Someone should decipher it. We'll need to show it. Here, a souvenir. Don't lose it.
The glossy-eyed corpse looks by, his mouth mute and his skin as colorful as the chemical...
You've acquired an interactable item. Investigate...
This is a trick. You've done it before. Pink is where the blood settled in the first hours post-mortem. You can use it to see if the corpse has been tampered with. Does his position at the time of death match the discoloration? Only the lower extremities are pink with a dash of blue. His fatted hands, thighs, and his neck, just above the noose. The rest of the corpse appears dark green in the cold spring air.
I see it. His neck too. The lividity goes right up his chin. We have good,
The monster comes back into focus. An explosion of color, coursing with dark marbled veins.
So, what do you think? Agreed, especially on the neck. The belt acted like a tourniquet, keeping the blood in his head. The hypostasis supports her hanging. Everything here seems to corroborate that assumption, but we should still get him down. I agree.
His personality is
totally dead. Absolutely.
A pool of blood and feces has eaten into the frozen mud below the man's feet.
The victim appears to have contained no more than half a...
The fuck he's saying?
Talking about shit.
Did we? I don't feel lucky. I do. Most of them are post-mortem. Maybe even all of them. The delinquents have made up.
Stop talking in riddles, coin slot.
It means you fucked him up good, Kuno. Fucked him up brutal-like.
But there is no breath to catch. Only the cadaver filling the air and your...
Are you sure we finished the preliminary examination of the cadaver? We might miss some of these things.
The cadaver slowly twists on the cargo belt, his torso covered in...
The steel-reinforced belt presents a unique challenge. I brought chain cutters, but I don't see a good angle.
He doesn't actually think the challenge is unique.
The cadaver is a good 1.2 meters up. Neither one of us can reach the belt without assistance. And even if we do, there's the question of cutting the airship strength material. Climb up there and saw the branch? There has to be a less risky way, with less falling down of trees. Someone else? You mean like the police? Sadly, yes. The whole RCM is out there right now. I know it's hard, but I assure you, the others won't come to help us. And I was really hoping we wouldn't. The Union appeared to be suspect in this case.
But what other options? The corpse?
We are not getting him down already. Not getting him down is a task that's already accomplished. Sadly, it's not our job to keep him up there, but to get him...
Yeah! Bang bang time, pig! Shoot his head off!
How?
Where the buckle ties the rope to the branch. That's a good spot to aim.
Where? Ah, yes, I see.
Yeah, now we're talking.
They'll miss! The pigs will miss, Kuno!
Silence. With his... and produces a lightweight firearm. He drops a paper cartridge in the barrel, separates the scouring stick, and gives the cartridge 5 taps. That's a Kiel A9090 Armistice. He then steps back and assumes the fellow's desk position, taking aim. The corner of his eye twitches.
He's gonna fucking miss!
The kid's voice is drowned in a shrill blast that echoes off the walls of the surrounding tenement.
God damn it.
He feels bad about it. About his eyes, mostly. Just having bad eyesight.
Fucking idiot! Mookabat!
Kuno could have hit it easy, but then Kuno's not fucking handicapped, is he? Kuno's sorry too. Kuno feels...
The lieutenant doesn't say a word, just looks at...
No, we are lucky as it is. We didn't break in. Any more mistakes could put us in an unfortunate position with the locals. We have eyes on us. I have to say, it's beginning to look unlikely we can get him down without assistance. It's bad as it is, us shooting firearms like punks here.
They only have one...
Oops.
This is the sorriest...
Officer, why do we only have one gun? That is even more unfortunate than the badge. You need to contact your station.
We're not off to a good start. This...
Yeah, take it, you fucking banana boyka! Take it and shoot yourself in the mouth!
The cold piece of bakelite and gunmetal is surprised.
The fuck are you waiting for, Kuno? Tell him to...
The buckle comes into focus in your sights.
Why don't you just shoot yourself in your mouth? At least you won't miss.
Your field of view narrows. The slow movement of the branch in the wind.
Look, he's crying. You gonna cry now? Or what? You gonna fuck me? You wanna fuck me, pig? Is that what this is about?
I agree. Enough gunslinging for today. We need to access the harbor and ask the leader of the Union to have it taken down. They have the...
An old call box with a matrix of push buttons lists all the companies in the East Delta Commerce.
Can I help you? Yes, have you got it? A lot. For the drinks and broken window, 70 real. Well? Great. Thank you, officer. That's all I wanted. It's good you paid before 9 p.m., or your door would have been locked electronically. Please pay for each night in advance starting tomorrow. 20 real per night.
I'll take a room here too.
Of course. Always happy to have officers from the RCM as guests. Anything else I can... What theme? Yes, not the whole damn union, thank God. Just... They come here in the evenings. Dumb, unruly types. Think they're big shit. But...
He hates the Union, but grudgingly recognizes its power over him. So he's directing his frustration at you instead. Retaliate.
We should find out who this Lord faction is, occupying the booth. Loudness means talkative, and we need info. We don't. We have to wait. They'll show up sooner or later. Men get hungry, even striking.
There are these things called days. You sleep between them. He's saying they'll come after you've slept. Just...
What are you, a cook now? That's none of your business. And want me to make an exception for you? You're not even a hot... Fine, okay. The kitchen is closed until 1 p.m. because the cook is working. What?
By the way, you should come back to this thing-based questionnaire if you see anything interesting in the whirling later.
Absolutely.
You wait and see, cafeteria. Absolutely in the question. Your body is ready, sire.
have a right to work. Hold up and... You here to fuck with us? Beat the honest worker down. We're here to fight for a cause. Stripes, good. Besides, we're not that different. Might be time. I don't trust cops, but I can see you understand, though. Right! Right. Rights of people.
His manner of speaking is wooden.
Maybe you should ask them the questions. We have families to...
So do we, Scott.
Have fun. Union shits are on full strike. I know nothing about him.
The mention of a killing.
Wouldn't put it past this harbor bug. Right to work! It's shameful. Cops doing nothing.
We are not picking a side in
pity. Let us work! We were promised work. We'd be in there. Main gates. And I don't mean the scrawny mess punk either. Like civilized folk, you mean?
It would be better for the neighborhood if you went home.
No! They will give up eventually.
Body betrayed.
Yeah, Measurehead. His body totally betrays his degenerate.
Don't say anything. Size him up first.
Are you admiring my morphophysiology? It must be frightening to stand in the shadow of this racial pinnacle. Be calm, I'm Sandwich. You are. That is precisely the negligence that you reek of it. An invisible sword of Al Ghul emerges from your throat. You can... No, you don't. You need...
Show him the ham still got it. Does this remind you of someone? The guy down there?
Begging for help. Attempting to pass fear for cooperation. How far the Occidental Haplogroup? You gave the world. You dominated. You will be superseded.
It is, baby, yeah.
There is a button right behind him. Just out of reach. This man is not budging. Let's hope his superiors inside are more cooperative.
Enough with this begging. Bring your troops to the seminar.
There may be a peaceful solution to... Well, not as such. What you do with a mastery of advanced race theory is up to you. You could reject the findings, sure. Or accept them and become an... Ask what kind of races there are first. Classification is core to this stuff.
Do you?
The lieutenant looks toward the heart.
You are obvious. There are 3 categories. The Mount, the Vespertines and Messini. The other large overproduction of sea as pro the indigenous people of this. The indigenous people of this. The
nature.
Those are the Simony. You know them by the name.
Mahoon is a derogative term in some...
The Maun are proved. The Vespertine, the other large overproduction of as the indigenous people of the land.
Nature was not capable.
Yes, pinkness is a ratio. The Koiko.
Wouldn't he be one for ethno-states?
It's the Vasholia.
Is it 82,000 years that we've been...
The revolution. Enough of tips. The FR. A museum. It would be cruel to entertain ourselves with their deformities. You understand nothing. To solve the great, you need to internalize what you have heard here today. I cannot possibly imagine what else we have to discuss.
Hola, Wandering Man. How can I help you?
Promising race pupil returns. Racists are generally not very good I am not like them. I am craniometric perfection. I have taken the trouble to
The drawings are precise and look true to their pseudo-scientific ambitions. One thing, however, it is not entirely free of
That atavistic stigmata makes pussy say yes, plenty.
Babe, thanks. But I got this. Oh, don't be vulgar.
There must be some.
Mr. Clare is a man of vision and means. He has the will to confront Of course you are, Revasholian man. The failure of communism to challenge the world above all. Rampant multinational finance still reigning large. Tell me, where have you gotten your love of pathetic communism offshoots of? I am not surprised you enjoy it so much. This has happened. What you need is to come to terms with extinction and never get in that debt. The unpromising race pupil returns.
I think this racist is better than the last.
That will be the...
He will grant us truth.
Your pedomorphic friend has quick wits. A protruding occiput and an intent.
The lieutenant does.
You should keep him close. The congenital defect of farsightedness does not render him a complete invalid. He still has the...
Yes?
Hola, Wandering Man. How can I help you? You know,
he's...
Murder, huh? Probably not.
looking for something, Runt? Come to tell me to fuck off again? Oh, not much anymore. I'm here to pick up some cargo, but the dock workers are on strike, so... The strike? Oh, they've been at it for a while. A month. 2 months. Apples.
Apples is exactly the kind of thing you'd say if you had some...
Fine. Drugs? They're shit, man. I don't let any... You know where that shit comes from? Sarah Miriza. Safre. They know they can't beat us in a fair fight. So they have to get us to weaken ourselves somehow. It's racial sabotage. Racial economic sabotage.
The man bites his lip and drops the near-finished cigarette lingering between his fingers.
Stuck in the rain in a traffic jam, man. What's on your mind? Huh? Oh, the bosses, man. Yeah, it sure ain't good for me. Or you. I'd spare a coin or two. It's like, whatever's going on over at the docks. Some pretty wild stuff. I've heard talk there's a company rep in town, too. They want to keep that
He doesn't blame them.
Anything else? Yeah, this us lorry drivers. Camionneur, not my thing. Chasing transient pleasures is he ain't one of us drivers. I know that. All accounted for.
It's easy to see he's telling the truth. He's kept his nose out of the dark stuff.
Analyzing the fundamental structural and psychological conditions of being stranded in the midst of a sea. A sense of surprise there ain't more bodies hanging from more trees. Oh, high-grade narcotics.
Time to relax. He's merely joking.
Can't even get a few jokes past you, my man. I've got another haul. They usually get shipped to Grodd and the Occident. Though we've been making headway in the Ilmaran market lately. Not unless they've illegalized sports equipment while I was on this rockin' beauty. Sure is. Like a rash you can't get rid of.
A motor lorry, also called a cab.
Good eye, my man.
There it is again. A little touch of sad. The man taps his fingers rhythmically.
Ah, man. Me and narcotics go way back. But those days are behind me. There are other addictions in my life now. Why the inquiry, my man?
We have a credible lead, sir. Someone on this roundabout is waiting for a bus.
Not me, man. No way. I don't need any trouble. Shit's bad enough anyway. This jam's got folks up in arms, and I'm afraid it's headed to... Gotta guard the stuff. Bosses don't look kindly on missing cargo.
A rhymesmith? This is quite credible. It goes with it.
Look, man, I try to stay away from the criminal underbelly of Revachol. I'm a guest here. You really need to find another man to probe with those questions.
Your best verse? You don't even have a bad verse in here. Just tumbleweed and liquor stain.
That's brutal, man.
No, stop. He's already mortified.
That's,
In the name of God, what are you doing?
Yeah, I get that, and it's cool, but... Yeah, I get it. These are your rhymes. They're from your life. Doesn't matter if they're robust, they're on.
Yes, and I also thank you for stopping. We have a drug investigation to return to. How about we do that?
It's raining again. It was clear just an hour ago.
Stuck in the rain in a traffic jam, man. What's on your mind?
eyes, and our familiar longing. Flecks of brown and gold. It's hard to say. His gaze wanders.
Excuse me? Man, I don't know what to say. Not much anyone can do. I miss my family. They're all I have. My wife, second kid on the way, waiting all the way in Diora. Diora of the Seven Seas. It's on the other end of Le Caillou, pretty much, on another island called Laurentide, off mainland. What's it like? Good. And bad. An ache that brings you joy. I think of them. What about you?
Is that what it is? No, it's scarier than that. You're pursued by a hunter, smelling of apricots and sorrow, and the past.
I feel for you, my friend. It's bad enough to know who you miss. But, thanks for this. It's nice to talk to someone, and I know it wasn't easy to ask. I hope you find your way through.
Before you stands a motor carriage. This must be the infernal machine that, in the cabin, you are welcomed by a set of steering levers, a radio microphone on a hook, a pull-out tool.
Hello again, sir. Are you interested in a new and exciting book this time? Okay, sir. I'll try to answer any questions you have. My name is Annette, sir. My mum, her name is Plaisance. She owns the store. She's inside. Feel free to step in and browse our wares. I'm signalling that the store is open. Otherwise, people might not know.
A sudden gush of wind turns the pages of the books on the counters. She covers her face, smiling. But she's cold.
Kind of you to offer, sir.
What could you do to help her anyway?
Oh, no, sir. I'm happy to help Mum by luring in customers. Besides, I have some hot juice in my vacuum bottle to keep warm. Oh, kings and queens and generals of old, or artists and writers. I think that's why people read them.
Seems like most people who read those books fail to get more famous from reading them.
But it does make the famous people more famous.
Annette's expression remains ever so helpful, but she does.
Okay. I do my studies at home at the moment. I have to help Mum keep this place running. School? Well, mine is a big yellow building on Boogie Street, and the people there run it. They say it's a Mum says it's necessary to do both, because it builds character. Mum says it's peachy. She was a little afraid at first.
Behind her, the window has been boarded up. You sense the boards creaking, twisting for a second.
Cursed in the way that makes them say that no business has ever really thrived here, sir. That they all go... Exactly. But we've been doing fine so far.
We can go into the bookstore and ask about the case. But
Yes, please do look at our wares inside. The postcards and board games you asked about are also there, sir.
It does not manifest itself in any way. It does not exist. I liked it better when we were no such thing.
Anything else you wanted to talk about, sir? Nothing really, sir. Mum doesn't allow me to sneak around in the back rooms or the cellar. I don't really know what's there. Maybe I can tell you about some of our books instead. Crime fiction is about murders or burglaries or things like that. And the work of a policeman or... And it's kind of like a puzzle too. You can guess who the criminal is or how the good guys are going to... You don't look much like a policeman. Didn't mean to offend, sir. Sorry, sir. It's just that you don't look like Dick Mullen. head. Yes.
No, it's your soul. Your blue soul.
I'm not sure I understand. If you say so, sir. He's just a fictional character. He's no match for you. Maybe you can show me some real police work, sir. Like in the books. No, sir, I can't. It would be too tiring to refrain from it. It's already tiring enough to remember to say it all the time. It's nice of you to say I could stop, though. That's a friendly enough face, most of the time. It's the type of book where there's a rich lady and she has to choose between the... Or there could be a story about a poor lady getting a rich man. It's about man and lady business, sir. These are not very common. You can't have a choice between... Well, maybe then it's fine. Maybe if the lady then decides not to pick either, because she doesn't need a bad man. Yes, it happens, but usually the guy gets rich in the process. Or should actually be... Those are unhappy books, for most of the pages. People sad about what they have lost. That's really not a proper romance story. That's more like everyday... Not in romance books, sir. These are about nice and pretty people, and everyone is happy in the end. I haven't read many of those. Maybe you should ask Mum. I'm sure she can help out. Anything else you're curious about? Maybe some about other books?
The girl keeps her hands folded, hidden.
What do you mean, sir?
She knows where this is going. She looks around anxiously. The lieutenant stands by, looking a facade of true professionalism. He is far more intrigued by the situation. She brings out her reddened hands.
And you knew this from me keeping my hands folded? Well, that proves nothing. Anyone could do an easy deduction like that.
She nods, half provocative, half enthusiastic.
Maybe so, sir. Okay, I know it's a bad habit, and I shouldn't. It was okay, sir.
There's more that can be achieved here. Ask her to do the same.
You're quite sober.
The lieutenant does not flinch at the comment. He does not flinch even a single bit. He is intensely not flinching.
I'm sorry, sir. I hope things get better.
There she stands, swaying on her feet. There's something you're missing. Because you know each other. She's been talking to you so openly because you've talked before.
Yes, I stand in this spot all... You've been running around all week without your shirt on, sir. Apologising to everyone. Of course, you stopped by a few times. You certainly look better than the last time I saw you. Yeah, but you don't have party eyes anymore.
Party eyes. Yes, of course. That makes...
I'm not surprised children have seen you running around with party eyes.
You know, like a cat in the dark, all big and wide-eyed.
The swiveling eyes of a loony drug addict. That is what she meant. Fuck yeah. You should get some party eyes right now. Snap those sequins on you. Oh baby, that's not what you have to worry about. Worry about the important thing.
I didn't know I had to do that. I'm glad I could help you, sir.
life doesn't need to be a struggle. I'll be with you in a moment, officer. Let me just finish my sandwich. Talk to Angry Hog René first.
Yes?
Have you no shame? Whining about your back ever?
René, you're a man with a fork in a world of soup. Please.
I'm trying to, but you keep breaking my concentration. You're old.
These manly men are playing balls. This is a ball game. That's the spirit. Don't even waste your breath asking about the game. They wouldn't know anyway. They're way past their prime. You are immediately surprised by the ball's lack of weight. No matter, you'll make it work. The cold metal ball is surprisingly smooth against your neck. Already, your muscles are adjusting to the weight. A chilly breeze ruffles your hair as you stand there, feet firmly planted. All sounds, smell, an embodiment of pure motion. A fine Some would still say you're a cop, but I guess we're beyond that now.
Merde! Bordel de merde!
A whorehouse of shit? It wasn't whorehouse of shit. The shot was a...
What the hell is your problem? I don't care if you are a cop. You do not just ruin someone's game. It's so goddamn disrespectful. You vandalized our game, son. We can't play pétanque with 5 pool. Well, it damn well isn't. It's pétanque. You...
Take it easy, René. This is just a myth.
Of course there's harm done, you orange slug. You owe us a goddamn pool. Good. Mistakes are forgiven, but men at least try to right their wrong.
Yes. Why did you come here? It's unlikely they know anything about the murder.
Unfortunately, I don't. Unlike most of the locals, I have no crowd. In Martinez, the union is the law. So can you really... Cop is a pejorative term. I don't have a problem with policemen. On the contrary.
He doesn't know about the crime. Your time is better spent discussing politics.
If I knew, I would not be afraid to tell you. I simply don't. I'm an old...
This is a man with a lot of past, but little present, and almost no future.
Yes? Excuse me? Detective, if I may be frank, you seem to be in a deranged state. You have trouble remembering things. You've missed some you time? This is a police investigation, not a journey of self-discovery.
A moment passes. The lieutenant glances at the sports watch on his wrist.
What do you want to know? What's there to say? It's just stupidity. The cop kind Our precincts can't decide if Martinez is part of Jamrock or the Industrial Harbor. Yours or mine, as if we somehow own parts of the city. Typical street gang mentality. So we've let the Union... Well, sort of. It's less a matter of who gets to police Martinez than who... I think the dispatch desk just told both our stations about the hanging. There was quite the brouhaha at the 57th, I can tell you that. Time to settle it, they said. Cop off. But I assure you, I am...
So, he volunteered to represent the 57th, but not out of competitiveness. On the con...
Yes. I am an unrepentant spoilsport. Martinez? Nothing. It's just a puddle at the end of some drain pipe. No one cares about this place. They care about sports. Most of our colleagues don't even know how to get here. North of the No. I agree. Was there anything else you wanted to ask about the competition? Yes, it's a wholly pointless matter. Forget I ever mentioned it.
Can't you see I'm throwing rocks? All right, entertain the Kuno. Show me what you...
Irregular speech patterns. Overconfidence. Could this...
Kuno's Kuno, pig?
It's always Kuno, never I. Clearly the kid's using the third-person perspective as a shield.
Yeah, Kuno's in a fucking gang. In a bang gang. Kuno bangs for Magie, bangs for
He lays the names out there with pride and precision. Like cards.
Watch out, Kuno! He's trying to fiddle you! He's gonna put his hands on... Help! Pig's got Kuno! Help! Rape!
Help! He's got the Kuno, help! Help! He's...
Escalate, Kuno! His dick is out! You're...
Pigs in here, Kuno! Somebody, please!
How did we get here? How did this happen? This makes no sense. There may still be a way out. Just appeal to his reason.
Fucking logical! Help! The logic... No! Get off Kuno, you sick fat fuck! Look... I know you wanted to hit me. You got that... I'm gonna fuck that Kuno up, look.
Relax. He can't read your mind. He doesn't know you were thinking that.
I can. Kuno can smell that violent shit. I know what... I'm gonna fuck that Kuno up. I'm gonna shut his shit down. You're nothing! You're a joke to Kuno! Kuno laugh.
The whole charade was about establishing dominance.
Kuno turned you into his prison, bitch! You're gonna be in this shit with Kuno!
No, you're not. We can...
Bitch, you're gonna be in this shit with Kuno forever!
A peepo is a type of hat, by the way.
You don't talk to me about my fucking peeper! You don't know where I come from!
Okay. Kuno is kind to his bitch. Ask your questions, but remember...
Click, 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 click!
shitload, pig.
Don't tell the pig shit, Kuno!
If I were to want to waste my time, which I do not.
The usual being. Have you seen anything out of the ordinary?
Kuno doesn't give a shit about the armor. Kuno's fuck gimp's got one big thing wrong with him. He's a... Look at him. Fucking growth hormone shit. He's a giant. The armor's too... Kuno doesn't give a shit about that freak armor. Kuno threw that shit away. Kuno tried to get the helmet on. It was too big. Kuno kicked that shit in the sea, rugby style. That shit means nothing to Kuno. Yeah, that shit means nothing to Kuno. You wanna fuck on someone about that armor? Go fuck the mustached union fuck. The jolly troubadour shit at the gates. Yeah, cock in boot. You know that jolly union cow fucker? Came around talking about...
Yes, you met him at the gates. The one with the...
Yeah, he's the one you want to talk to. He's fucking crazy about that armor shit.
Yes, this troubadour has it. You can feel it.
You're testing Kuno's patience here.
Get lost!
Right, pig. This is where Kuno plays with his little wooden choo-choo. Fuck do you want with it? Look at that fucking shit. You're trying to get Kuno killed. Fuck does Kuno know? Kuno...
The lieutenant takes a...
It's a trap, Kuno! Don't climb it, Kuno!
Yeah, whatever. Kuno doesn't give a shit. Kuno doesn't fucking care.
Advanced race theory. Everything is calm in the eye of the race storm. Your mind is lucid and bright. The mind-bending phylogenetics appear more distant and, to be fair, a little ridiculous.
Hola, Wandering Man. How can I help you? The little boy had a good on his promise. To get me into trouble. To sick the pigs on me, pardon the choice of word.
What happened?
I was asked to look into that armor situation. Official...
Did you?
At first I thought, why not? Maybe the pieces can feed the strike. So I went to this boy. He said he'll make me his prison bitch. He's got eyes everywhere. Serves me right for doing menial footwork. I dropped that probe right then and there, and it still got me into trouble. One bad move. I learned that people don't want to talk to a drone.
What else?
Not much. Technical stuff mostly. That was the interesting part. It's a minor nuisance. It's all good. I did some research into this armadura. Let's say I have friends at the library.
How does it come?
In parts. 4 in total. The helmet was the first to go. The kid says he tore it off and kicked it. So, as I count, there are 2 parts missing. The gauntlets and the cuirass. This is where I left off. Too much hassle. More like a job for some militia.
Nice and balanced. Some junior officers can take care of the rest.
Smart choice. It's only that one spot you need armored too. The one the bullet hits. Good luck if you go for those boots though. You'd have an easier time wresting the spurs off a boyadero than getting them off him. No problem. If you see that kid, thank him from Call Me Mañana. Thank him for
He is sincerely grateful he is not tracking down pieces of armor right now.
promising race pupil returns. And... everyone can see that.
Baby, don't be mean. Give him a...
Anything for you, babe. Fascinating. The Revacholian degenerate shows signs of racial self-reflection. How did you accomplish this little feat? So it would seem, Throlaful. I find myself at a crossroads. On one hand, of course, you will not be able to free yourself. If the Revacholian degenerate is capable of critical thought, he may still prove a race adversary.
Jean, baby. Do the heroic thing.
That is not possible. The game of Shahmat you play against the rules tricks is unwinnable. The day you will not. You cannot withstand.
It's super hard, Jean. My mom couldn't do it either.
Very well. You may enter once.
Well done. Let's go.
An imposing combination of a punch clock and a payphone is looking down at you from the wall. A note on the side says, "Tokens unavailable." The machine swallows your coin and seems to be waiting for your next move. It's unclear whether you actually have muscle memory. Right now, your finger undoubtedly no. Sure, why not? On second glance, someone has forgotten.
It's unfortunate for the Union to just leave their paperwork lying around like this.
Let's see what's inside, he thinks. The drawer opens smoothly. Inside is hundreds of documents containing logistical data and the same materials being handed over to companies inside Revenue. It's hard to make sense of this thicket of company names, dates, quantities, and percentages. You try to focus, but the lines are getting blurry. Look how blurry all the lines on these papers are. How unwieldy your own willpower is to yourself. Hermeneutics was almost within your grasp, but now only vague letters float before. You're a police officer, not a spiritual healer. You can focus the normal.
Is that what you're doing with those photos over there? Right. This is probably not relevant to our case. After all, we're not investigating an accounting mystery.
You're trying hard, but the data here is unbelievably hundreds of dollars. And the same material. You already went through all of these. The drawings.